Donald Trump is back in the White House. His return signals a new era of unpredictability on the world stage. Trump's foreign policy is often described as America first. This means he prioritizes American interests, even if it means disrupting global norms. Trump's approach has led to praise and criticism. Supporters applaud his boldness. Critics worry about his disregard for traditional alliances. One thing is certain: Trump keeps the world guessing. Trump's return to power promises to be anything but boring. His foreign policy decisions will have lasting consequences. The world watches with bated breath. The ongoing conflict in Ukraine has become a focal point of Trump's foreign policy. The situation in Ukraine, marked by intense fighting and geopolitical tension, has drawn the world's attention and placed significant pressure on global leaders to respond effectively. His stance has shifted over time, creating confusion and concern among allies. Initially, Trump's unpredictable approach left many wondering about the direction of U.S. foreign policy. Allies were particularly worried about the lack of a consistent strategy, which made it difficult to form a united front against Russian aggression. Initially, Trump expressed admiration for Russian President Vladimir Putin. This admiration was evident in several public statements and meetings, where Trump often praised Putin's leadership style and expressed a desire to improve U.S.-Russia relations. He even suggested that Russia's annexation of Crimea was justified. This controversial stance raised eyebrows and led to widespread criticism, as it appeared to undermine international law and the sovereignty of Ukraine. However, as the conflict escalated, Trump adopted a tougher stance. This shift was seen as a response to mounting pressure from both domestic and international actors who demanded a more assertive U.S. role in the crisis. His administration provided military aid to Ukraine. This included lethal aid such as anti-tank missiles, which were intended to bolster Ukraine's defense capabilities against Russian-backed separatists. He also imposed sanctions on Russia. These sanctions targeted key sectors of the Russian economy and were designed to pressure Moscow into changing its behavior. This shift in policy reflects the delicate balance Trump tries to strike between his personal views and America's strategic interests. Navigating this complex landscape required Trump to weigh his admiration for Putin against the need to support Ukraine and uphold international norms. Trump's approach to Ukraine has been criticized as inconsistent. Critics argue that his fluctuating policies have created uncertainty and weakened the U.S. position on the global stage. Some argue that his initial praise for Putin emboldened the Russian leader. This emboldenment may have contributed to Russia's aggressive actions in Ukraine and beyond. Others believe that his subsequent actions demonstrate a commitment to containing Russian aggression. By providing military aid and imposing sanctions, Trump showed a willingness to confront Russia when necessary. Only time will tell what Trump's ultimate legacy on Ukraine will be. The long-term impact of his policies remains to be seen, and future administrations will likely continue to grapple with the challenges posed by the Ukraine crisis. International summits are usually carefully choreographed affairs. World leaders meet to discuss global issues and present a united front. However, when Donald Trump enters the room, diplomatic protocols tend to go out the window. This was certainly the case at the recent G7 summit. Trump clashed with America's closest allies on issues ranging from trade to climate change. He even suggested that Russia should be allowed back into the group. This proposal was met with resistance from other leaders. Trump's disruptive behavior at the G7 summit has raised concerns about America's commitment to its allies. Some observers believe that Trump's actions are weakening the post-World War II order. Others argue that he is simply trying to get a better deal for America. In a move that surprised many, Trump expressed interest in buying Greenland from Denmark. This unexpected announcement came during a press conference, where Trump highlighted Greenland's strategic importance and its untapped natural resources. The idea was met with a mix of disbelief and curiosity, as no U.S. president had ever proposed such a purchase in modern times. He even went so far as to cancel a state visit to Denmark when the Danish Prime Minister, Mette Frederiksen, refused to discuss the matter, calling the idea absurd. This diplomatic snub created a stir in international relations, highlighting the unusual nature of Trump's foreign policy approach. Trump's interest in Greenland is likely driven by its strategic location and natural resources. Greenland sits between the Arctic and Atlantic Oceans, making it a key geopolitical asset. Its vast ice sheets and remote location have kept it relatively untouched, but climate change is rapidly altering the landscape. The Arctic is becoming increasingly important in a world grappling with climate change and competition for resources. As the ice melts, new shipping routes are opening up, and previously inaccessible resources are becoming available. This has led to a surge in interest from various countries, all vying for a piece of the Arctic pie. Greenland, with its vast reserves of oil, gas, and rare earth minerals, is seen as a valuable prize. These resources are crucial for modern technology and energy production, making Greenland an attractive target for investment and development. The potential economic benefits are enormous, but so are the environmental risks. Trump's annexation rhetoric has been met with amusement and alarm. While some see it as a bold and visionary move, others view it as reckless and unrealistic. The idea has sparked a wide range of reactions, from late-night comedy sketches to serious political debates. While few believe that Denmark would ever sell Greenland, Trump's actions highlight his willingness to challenge the status quo. His unconventional approach to diplomacy and international relations often catches both allies and adversaries off guard, leading to unpredictable outcomes. His Arctic ambitions are likely to continue to make headlines in the years to come. As global interest in the Arctic grows, the region will remain a focal point for geopolitical maneuvering and environmental concerns. Trump's proposal may have been dismissed, but it has undoubtedly brought renewed attention to the strategic importance of Greenland and the Arctic. Section 5. Tariff Wars and Trade Tremors, Trump's Global Economic Impact. Trump's approach to trade is another hallmark of his America First agenda. He has imposed tariffs on goods from China, the European Union, and other trading partners. Trump argues that these tariffs are necessary to protect American jobs and reduce the trade deficit. However, Trump's trade wars have had unintended consequences. They have disrupted global supply chains and raised prices for consumers. The tariffs have also angered America's allies, who have retaliated with tariffs of their own. Trump's trade policies are a gamble. He is betting that he can use tariffs to force other countries to make concessions. However, there is a risk that his actions could trigger a global recession. Section 6. The Art of the Deal in the Middle East, a Transactional Approach. Trump's approach to the Middle East has been characterized by a focus on transactional diplomacy. He has sought to broker deals between Israel and its Arab neighbors. Trump's administration played a key role in the Abraham Accords, which normalized relations between Israel, the United Arab Emirates, and Bahrain. However, Trump's Middle East policy has also been controversial. He withdrew the United States from the Iran nuclear deal. He also recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, a move that angered Palestinians and their supporters. Trump's transactional approach to the Middle East has yielded mixed results. While he has achieved some successes, his policies have also exacerbated tensions in the region. Section 7. China on the radar: trade tensions and Taiwan support. China has emerged as one of America's main rivals on the world stage. Trump has taken a confrontational approach to China, imposing tariffs on Chinese goods and accusing China of unfair trade practices. Trump has also increased military support for Taiwan, which China considers to be a breakaway province. Trump's tough stance on China has been applauded by those who believe that China poses a threat to American interests. However, others worry that his actions could lead to a new Cold War. Trump's China policy is a delicate balancing act. He must find a way to protect American interests without provoking a conflict with a nuclear-armed superpower. Section 8. NATO under strain. Trump's demands and transatlantic friction. NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, has been a cornerstone of Western security for decades. However, Trump has repeatedly questioned the value of NATO. He has also demanded that other NATO members increase their military spending. Trump's skepticism of NATO has caused anxiety among America's European allies. They worry that Trump's actions are weakening the alliance. Trump's approach to NATO is part of his broader effort to reduce America's global commitments. He believes that other countries should take on more responsibility for their own defense. Section 9. A World Adrift. Navigating the unpredictable seas of Trump's foreign policy. Donald Trump's return to the White House has ushered in an era of uncertainty in international relations. His unconventional approach to diplomacy and foreign policy has left both allies and adversaries on edge, unsure of what to expect next. The world watches closely, trying to decipher the implications of his every move. His America First agenda, characterized by unpredictability and a disregard for global norms, has left the world guessing. Traditional alliances have been tested and long-standing agreements have been questioned. The ripple effects of his policies are felt far and wide, challenging the status quo. From the streets of Kiev to the halls of the United Nations, Trump's foreign policy decisions have sent shockwaves across the globe. In Kiev, citizens react with a mix of hope and apprehension, while at the United Nations, diplomats scramble to adapt to the new reality. The global community is in a state of flux. His approach has alienated allies, emboldened adversaries, and left many wondering what the future holds. NATO leaders express concern over the stability of the alliance, while Russian officials seem to gain confidence. Across the world, people are left to ponder the long-term consequences of these shifts. As the world grapples with the consequences of Trump's actions, one thing is clear: the global order as we know it is being reshaped. Boundaries are shifting, and the balance of power is in flux. International summits reveal the discord among world leaders, highlighting the challenges ahead. Whether this transformation will lead to a more stable and prosperous world or further chaos and conflict remains to be seen. The future is uncertain and the stakes are high. As nations navigate these turbulent waters, the hope for peace and stability hangs in the balance.